Last night's AEW Dynamite was cursed. So much weird stuff happened and I just need to discuss it. This show is of course the go home show to Double or Nothing 2024, and as I said, it was probably one of the weirdest, craziest and most cursed AEW Dynamites ever. So like the video and let's talk about it. Let's talk about the May 22nd, 2024 AEW Dynamite. We open the show with tag team action as it's Orange Cassidy and Will Ospreay versus Trent Beretta and Roderick Strong. These are just four of your most solid TV guys that can wrestle every week and always do a good job. And this match is obviously combining two feuds into one match, and it was a solid match between all four guys here. It went how you'd expect it to go. Obviously they held back just a bit because they're all facing at the pay-per-view obviously, and Roddy and Trent pick up the win after Wardlow got involved and Roderick Strong got the pin on Orange Cassidy. Then we get a big post-match beatdown as the Undisputed Kingdom strike Ospreay with the belt and bust him open, and Roddy cuts a promo as he holds a bloody Will Ospreay. This match ought to be a good one at Double or Nothing, but as for Orange Cassidy and Trent, I have no idea what the direction of that feud even is anymore. If Orange Cassidy is the heel or the babyface, I guess we'll find out in this match at Double or Nothing. We then get an EVP interlude, which is now a regular fixture of any AEW Dynamite show, and this one shows them handing out photos of Darby Allin, who's banned from the building, and they instruct Sonjay Dutt to hurt Bryan Danielson tonight, who is of course facing Satnam Singh in the main event, but we'll get there later though. We then get an in-ring promo from Trios champions the Bang Bang Gang, and they start talking about Pac, who then appears on the big screen, and he says that 3-on-1 isn't fair, is it? And then appears out alongside Penta and Phoenix as Death Triangle, and the Bang Bang Gang brawl, with Death Triangle getting the upper hand, and Pac gets on the mic and says see you at Double or Nothing. This is a good addition to the card. I think we all saw this coming, with Pac having his feud with Jay White, just the natural direction. Next up though, we have an FTW Eliminator 3-way match as it's Hook, Brian Keith and Katsuyori Shibata facing off, with the winner getting a shot at Chris Jericho's FTW title at Double or Nothing. And I was kinda disappointed by this match. It went very short for a 3-way match and I thought it wasn't memorable at all really, and the match ends with Hook and Shibata both tapping out Brian Keith at the same time, and it's then announced that they both won the match and will both be facing Jericho for the FTW title at the pay-per-view in a 3-way match. So basically just the same match they just had, but with Jericho instead of Brian Keith, which is a downgrade, to be honest. Jericho then cuts a promo and he was just waffling in this one. This was not a good promo from him. I said his ones from previous weeks weren't bad, but I'm not giving that same leeway for this one. This one just wasn't good. And I'm thinking that this leads to Brian Keith joining the learning tree. I said that last week, because if not, he kinda got jobbed out here. Next up though is Konosuke Takeshita and Matt Sydal facing one-on-one, and listen, I get that this match was just to make Takeshita look good, so it didn't need any time, but I like Matt Sydal as well personally. He's a good wrestler, good worker, and these two could have had a good match, but instead Takeshita just squashes him in under 2 minutes. Which again, Takeshita looks strong and Sydal's not a major player, so he can take the loss. There's no major booking issues at all, but these two could cook with more time, and I personally want to see that, but overall, it's not an issue. Takeshita then continues to attack Sydal after the bell, but then we get our usual AEW trademark post-match beatdown and save angle as Jon Moxley's music hits and he comes out to make the save and hits Takeshita with the mic and says see you at Double or Nothing. World Champion Swerve Strickland is out next and he's facing Nick Wayne from the Patriarchy, and I'm glad they did this match. It felt natural to have this match in the build to Swerve versus Christian, and of course Swerve and Wayne have their own history, and so I'm glad that they got this match on the Go Home show. They had a solid match. It went just over 8 minutes and it wasn't an all-out match because this is surely going to be revisited again. I mean, Nick Wayne is 18, so they've got plenty of time, and perhaps it could be on an even bigger event. But Swerve of course picks up the win, then immediately is attacked by Killswitch, and out comes the Patriarchy. Swerve manages to clear kill switch though, and he sets his sight on Christian, who then runs away and is chased out of the arena. He then steals a car and looks to drive away, but is blocked by another car, which is being driven by the returning Prince Nana, and Swerve and Cage brawl on the car, with Swerve hitting a DDT on him on the car before Cage finally retreats. This entire angle was just absolute craziness, but I've come to expect nothing less when it comes to Christian Cage. Next up though is Kyle O'Reilly versus Malachi Black in, get this, Malachi Black's first Dynamite singles match since June 2022. I could be wrong, but I've looked on Cage Match and I think I'm correct. He's done single stuff on Collision and Rampage recently, but as far as I'm aware, it's been nearly 2 years since a singles match on Dynamite until now. And Malachi and Kyle O'Reilly had the match of the night for me. Lots of kickboxing and MMA elements to this match, sequences and striking. It was a big strike fest from start to finish, a big focus on the kicks and punches and forearms and knees and everything related to that. The fans were really into it as well, and I was also really into it. I enjoyed it, and the finish was cool as well, as Malachi ate a strike from O'Reilly to hit the end kick and pick up the win in this match over Kyle O'Reilly. And then right after this match, some absolute cursed bullshit started happening as red lights started to flicker and Malachi Black is hosed with blood from the ceiling. And I mean, it was literally shot at him at a crazy high pressure, like it was a power hose or something. And Copeland then appears on the Tron to speak to Malachi, who is now Malachi Red, and he says, "Malachi, be careful what you wish for. See you soon." Potentially a Brood Adam Copeland version at Double or Nothing, maybe a Gangrel appearance. That would be quite nice. Maybe we could see that. Tag action next, as it's Harley Cameron and Saraya against Toni Storm and Mariah May. And one thing I've noticed recently with the AEW Women's Division booking is there's more TV storylines going on, like matches and series of matches that start and end on TV, or a storyline that starts and ends on TV in more simplistic terms. And they've had Team Tony versus the Outcast like we've got here going on for the last few weeks. We've reviewed all the matches. Then you've also got Statlander and Willow having their own struggles and storyline, and then you also have Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa also doing their own stuff. It's good to see there's a lot more of a focus, and the women's division is definitely being booked a lot better now. But still, there's room for improvement, definitely. And like I said, I've seen all the matches they've had for this series with Team Toni Storm and the Outcast, and they've all been really solid, and this one was also a really solid match. I thought all four of them performed well together, and it was clear watching this match that they worked on this match. Mariah May and Harley Cameron, when they were in the ring working against each other, were easily the best moments of this match, and of course Mariah and Toni get the win in a very solid match after Toni gives both Saraya and Harley Cameron Storm Zeros. Serena Deeb then attacks all the crew with a chair post-match and locks Toni in a half crab with the chair as the refs do nothing to try to stop it, and Toni is tapping before Serena finally lets go. And this match between Toni Storm and Serena Deeb has been built up really well. They've had something to further the storyline every week on Dynamite, and I'm looking forward to this match. Anyway, it's main event time, as it's the one I've been waiting for, Bryan Danielson versus Satnam Singh. Happy birthday to Danielson, who celebrates with this match, and I was looking forward to this match the moment it got announced because it's just a crazy match on paper, but I know that Bryan Danielson is going to give Satnam Singh the best match of his career, and he sure as hell did. I really enjoyed this match. I've actually seen some split opinion on it, but I really enjoyed this match, and it was definitely Satnam Singh's best match of his career so far. It was a simple story, David versus Goliath, little versus big, as Danielson chopped at the wood all match and worked to take the big man down all match and was working and using his speed. Danielson, just a joy to watch when he's just running back and forth, just charging at a guy twice the size of him. Unfortunately though, this match only ended up going 5 minutes, which was my only downside of this match. Also a DQ finish after Sonjay attacked Danielson, which I don't think needed to be done, but it makes sense storyline wise as Sonjay was told to hurt Danielson, which they definitely did, and this post-match angle is just absolutely wild, as Danielson gets a comeback going and smashes the guitar over Satnam, who then just eats it, and the beatdown continues before the EVPs come out, and we're left with Danielson and the Young Bucks, who go for the EVP trigger, but Danielson moves out the way and clears the Young Bucks. Okada's music then hits, but it's only a distraction as Jack Perry attacks Bryan from behind. The Elite then drag Danielson up the ramp, but Darby Allin then finally arrives. He's been banned all night, and he pulls in wielding a flamethrower and backs the Elite away before chucking Nicholas through a table, and what a crazy post-match angle this is, as the show ends with Bryan Danielson and Darby Allin standing tall. And yeah, I think I know what match is main eventing Double or Nothing now. Honestly, what a crazy show from start to finish, from the blood to everything surrounding the main event, to Swerve and Christian Cage's angle. It was a crazy show, and the first hour was pretty bad, but I thought the show picked up in the second hour, as the second hour was really solid, and the show really picked up. Like I said, match-wise, it was a good show overall, other than the squash with Takeshita and Seidel, and the three-way match wasn't good, and the show was a bit cursed angle-wise, but it was an okay, it was an alright, it was a just above average go-home show leading up to Double or Nothing. I personally enjoyed it, but it wasn't that great with the angles, and the first hour was a bit meh. Alright, before we end the video though, let's do some quick fire Double or Nothing predictions. Roderick Strong versus Will Ospreay, I got Roderick Strong. Tony Storm versus Serena Deeb, I got Tony Storm. Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black, I've got Copeland. Moxley versus Takeshita, I've got Takeshita. Trent versus Cassidy, I've got Cassidy. Jericho versus Hook versus Shibata, I've got Jericho. Bullet Club Gold versus Death Triangle, I've got Bullet Club Gold. Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Moné, I've got Willow Nightingale for this. The Elite versus Team AEW, I've got the Elite. And I've got Swerve Strickland in his match over Christian Cage. Anyway, that's it from me though. Thank you all for watching this AEW Dynamite Go Home Show review. I'll see you all for the Double or Nothing review, and next week for my next Dynamite review. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to be the first to see those future videos. I'll see you all soon. Goodbye, and keep on rolling.